Hello, and hope you everyone having a good day. My name is Saru Rehan Bopitir, and on behalf of Slip Fast community, I welcome you all to the Google Summer of Code awareness session for 2025. So, basically, today's session will be covering an overview and taking you through what Google Summer of Code is and how important it is for undergraduates in the tech community. So I'll be taking you through what the process is and what GSOC is. So if you do have any questions, we have our live chat available. So please drop them to our live chat and I can answer them here and there as well. So let's get started, shall we? Right. So Google Summer of Code is also known as GSOC. It's organized by Google and it has been happening for so many years now. So to start about and start talking about what GSOC is, I'll be saying GSOC instead of Google Summer of Code because it's way too long. So we need to first understand what open source is. So what is open source? Open source is basically computer software where the source code is publicly available and it's distributed under an open source license for anyone to change, anyone can contribute it to, and the overall goal of open source is to improve software all around the world. So this in turn promotes collaboration among developers and it creates a well dedicated community of developers. So that's really good that we have open source, and most of the tools that we use nowadays are a product of open source development. So GSOC or Google Summer of Code directly contributes to open source development. Right. This takes me straight into what GSOC is. So, GSOC or Google Summer of Code is an online international program and it's designed to encourage new contributors into the world of open source development. So, the new developers who are participating in Google Summer of Code get the chance to be mentored and guided by well experienced mentors in the open source community. So this is a really great opportunity for you. So after you have participated in it, you'll be given a stipend and also a certificate showing that you have participated in Google Summer of Code, which is very valuable, and not many people get the chance to do that. So that's very valuable if you can participate in Google Summer of Code this year. Yeah. So as I mentioned, one of the main goals of GSOC is to introduce new contributors to the open source software development community. So as the Slitfast community, our main goal is open source development, promoting open source development, because that's what we stand for, free and open source software. So GSOC is a really great place for young developers and undergraduates who are in the first years, second years, third years to participate in. So I'll get into what GSOC is and how that helps your career as well. So indirectly, the goals of the program, they help new open source projects being born, and they give contributors the chance to get their exposure in working with real world applications, working with real world solutions, and working with professionals in the industry. So with software development scenarios like testing, version controlling, and all those sorts of things, and you get the chance to work with a really professional team. So that's really important. It's basically like an internship. It's basically like an internship, but it's way more valuable as well because you get the certificate from Google itself. So uh, you get to create more open source code, which is also pretty valuable. And this will be a really great opportunity for you to start your career as well. So, as I mentioned, this can be your internship as well. So, this will be a starting point, a really good starting point for your tech career. Right. So, about GSOC. So, GSOC has been around for a really long time, and This is 2025 of Google Summer of Code, and it's a global program which is focused on bringing more and more contributors into the open source world. And it's open to all the students and beginners who are above the age of 18, basically. So when it comes to GSOC, let's say you are a contributor, you get the chance to three select of three types of projects. So it can be small, medium, or large. So small size projects are approximately 90 hours. So whatever that you're working on, right, it's a project of 90 hours. So it's a small size project. So medium size projects are approximately somewhere around 175 hours, and large scale projects are somewhere around approximately 350 hours. So the standard coding period, or the GSOC sort of program period, is 12 weeks. So but with when you're working with the team, you can extend that period to a maximum of 22 weeks as well. So for the small size projects, the coding period is somewhere around 8 weeks. So these are some too much detail. I think I won't go too much into this. Basically, the most important thing that you need to know is that under the guidance of really experienced mentors within the industry, you can work with them while earning a stipend. So a stipend is basically somewhat, it's not basically a salary, but it's something that you receive for contributing to the open source community and contributing to that open source organization. So that's really valuable as well. So you won't be working for free, so you'll be getting something out of it as well. Okay, so how does GSOC work? So this is basically the timeline right now, and we are right now in phase 3, which is where contributors submit their project proposals to the organizations in order to get selected. So I'll get into what project proposals are and everything is later on in the presentation. So what happens right now is that you, as a contributor, should submit a proposal to an organization saying, okay, for your sort of problem, this is going to be my solution. And the organizations will review your proposal and will have an interview with you, and they will select you in for the GSOC program under the organization. So that's what happens. So the deadline is April 8th for proposals, and then on you can start your GSOC journey. So from June 2nd. So that's where the fun begins, basically. So this is what the timeline looks for GSOC 2025. I'll drop this to the live chat also in a bit. But yeah, that's basically the deadline. So what you need to keep in mind is April 8th is when the deadline is for project proposals. Right. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind. So you need to be above 18. You need to be a beginner contributor to open source, or you should be a student or student of university or an undergraduate. And you need to be eligible to work in the country that you are working in right now. So, and you need to be previously accepted into GSOC no more than once, right? So the rest of things, I don't think it's very much relevant to Sri Lanka. But yeah, I think most of the undergraduates in Sri Lanka will tick all these check boxes. So this is a really great opportunity for you, because you will be walking away with a stipend as well as an internship basically done, and it will be a great boost for your career as well. So what are the things you need to consider before applying to GSOC? So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is what you're interested in, right? So with all the hype and around AI and cybersecurity and data, you might be interested in that as well, and that's okay. That's the main thing that you can focus on. So if you're interested in AI, you can look for projects and organizations that do open source development in those areas. In AI, maybe machine learning, maybe data engineering, all those sorts of things. So you can select an organization that basically focuses on your focus of interest. And then what next? You can look into what technologies you are familiar with. So let's say you're interested in AI, right? And something that technology that goes really closely with AI is Python. So let's say you're good with Python, and that would be step two done. So you need to first know what your interests are and align your interest with a particular organization. And once that's done, you need to see, okay, what am I strong in? What programming technologies, what frameworks am I familiar with? So there are so many frameworks, there's so many organizations in GSOC that you can contribute to. It's not just the ones that are in this slide, there are so many available. So that's what you can focus on as your second thing. The third thing, what is the available time that you can commit to that organization, right? So that basically means whether you're going for a small scale project, a medium scale project, or a large scale project, right? So if you're a full-time undergraduate student, maybe time is a bit limited. If you're working already, your time is even more limited, right? So pick the project very carefully. And I think if you do these three sort of steps, and if you consider what these three steps are, I think you will be able to select the best organization you possibly can. And once you do that and you find your project, it's just a matter of writing the proposal and sending it over to them. So if we go through it again, find your interest and align your interest with that organization's project, and know which technologies you are strong in, and select which size of project that you will be contributing to. Mm, yep. Once again, like if you have any questions, feel free to drop them as a comment to the live chat, and I'll drop this link to the presentation as well, so you can take a much more understanding and take it out later. um right, so I mentioned about the first thing, right? How do you choose an organization, right? So what you can do is, if we go back a slide a little bit, the very first step is about what your interest is, right? What your interest is, and let's say, let's go with AI. Let's go with AI. Okay, so let's go with AI, and let's say you're familiar with Python. Okay, now keep that in mind. I go and try to choose an organization. So there are so many organizations selected for GSOC 2025, and from that, what you need to do is filter out the organizations that focus on AI and use Python as a technology stack, as a tech stack. Then you can narrow it down from around 200, 250 organizations to somewhere around like 20, 30, or maybe even 10. So then what you need to do is focus on those 10 only. You don't need to go through every single organization out there in GSOC, because that's not practical and you don't have the time to do that as well. What's next is, you need to do a little bit of research, right? So you can look into what kind of organization that you're actually contributing to. So they have their websites available, they are GitHub repositories. So check these things out, check if these organizations are actually worth contributing to. I'm sure if they are, otherwise they won't be selected for as a mentoring organization for GSOC. But see if you're interested in contributing to these organizations, and read through their project ideas list, right? So each organization has a project idea list, and in this list, try to find a couple of ideas within the organization that you're interested in. Okay, so once you're interested in, let's say, a project idea, You can reach out to the people within that organization and say, hey, I'm interested in this. Can you help me out? What does this actually, what's the requirement? The main sort of goal about GSOC is community building, right? They really value community building because if you keep that communication with the organization, with the mentoring organization from the very start, it would be really helpful for you in the long run as well. So that's sort of like the main thing Google is focusing on, building the community while you are contributing to open source development. So yes, you can reach out to these organizations. They have their own separate communication channels, Slack, Discord, stuff like that. So you can reach out to these people. They are really helpful and they are interested in open source as well, just like you. So they will definitely help you out. And yes, so project proposal information. Basically, once you selected the organization, once you selected interested project topic, what's next is to write the project proposal for it, right? So once you talk to those team members within the organization, you know what an idea is and you know what the requirement is. You can write down your project proposal and you can basically say, okay, this is my solution, this is what I'm going to do, and you submit that uh, before April 8th. So what you need to focus on here is that the earlier you write the proposal, the better it is. Because most of the time, when it comes to GSOC, most of the students get stuck in this step where they start writing the proposal, but they get stuck, right? So it's really important to just do it. Just start it and try and just get it done. And then you can send it out to them and get their feedback and see if there's anything to change and stuff like that. It's all about communication when it comes to GSOC. And you can submit a maximum of 3 project proposals in total. It can be to different organizations or to the same organization, different topics as well. So 98% of the mentors are volunteers, right? 98% of the mentors are volunteers. So that's why it's so good, because the community is there, because they all love and they all care about open source development and they're really helpful. So maybe they won't be responsive at first, so you might have to be patient till they review your project proposal and they get back to you. So don't get stuck in this step, don't get stuck in the project proposal step. We will have a separate session. So what we are doing right now is the awareness session. So on the 26th, which is next Wednesday, for the SLIT students who are listening, we have a physical session at 10 a.m. at SLIT Malabe, where we have collaborated with an organization, a mentoring organization called OpenMRS, where 2 speakers from OpenMRS will be coming to SLIT and going a little bit deeper into how you can select an organization, how you can write a project proposal, and about community building. So it will be a very panel type sort of discussion. And those are really experienced people who will be coming to SLIT on that day. So if you're at SLIT, if you're a student at SLIT, please make sure to come to that session. And if you are interested in applying for GSOC, because this is a really important and valuable opportunity for you, make sure to join in that day as well. I won't be going too much into project proposal writing today, and but if you are interested, you can definitely join the session, and I'll add those links to the chat after the live stream is over as well. Yeah, right. So writing the project proposal. So most organizations have their own sort of template when it comes to writing their project proposal, what they want specifically from the applicants, why you want to work on the idea, your background, what you're strong in. Maybe you're strong in Python, JavaScript, React, right? Some experience you've done, the work you've done, and what the requirement is. So it doesn't have to be a book, it doesn't have to be 10, 12 pages, right? It should be somewhere around 3 to 8 pages, somewhere between 3 and 8. So it doesn't have to be too short, also not too long. Basically what it should contain is why you're interested in contributing to it, and why the organization should select you. So basically your background, the skills that you have, and the work that you've done. So these are the things that you should include in your project proposal. I won't be going too deep into this, because we'll be having a separate physical session for it on Wednesday the 26th. So if you're a SLIT student, please make sure to join that session. Yeah, these are some really frequently asked questions. Basically, how much time do I need to spend on the project? So as I mentioned before at the very start, you have the option of selecting three project sizes basically. So you have the small, which is approximately somewhere around 90 hours, and that is 8 weeks. 8 weeks means 2 months, right? And then you have the medium size, which is uh, yeah, 175 hours, which is 12 weeks, right? That's somewhere around 3 months. And then you have 350 hours, which is also but a little bit more commitment, which is a large scale project. So the maximum that you can extend your sort of internship, I wouldn't call it an internship, but your contribution time is the maximum is somewhere around 22 weeks. So you can talk with your mentoring organization and extend it to a period of 22 weeks. So don't worry too much about that. Just follow the 3-step process. See which area you're interested in, see what you're strong in, what programming languages you know, and then you can focus on which scale of project to contribute to. And this is something that really uh, most students have. I'm new to open source. Is it okay if I participate? Yes, definitely. That's the whole point of GSOC. GSOC is not for very experienced developers, right? It's for newcomers, it's for newbies, 18 years and above. People who are just entering the tech industry, just starting their degree, just starting out as an undergraduate. So even if you're a first year, if you're first year, first semester, yes, it's for you. So don't worry about that. Don't be afraid. The community is very helpful, and they're willing to work with you as well. As long as you're excited and you're keen and you want to learn about open source development, this would be a really good chance for you. So make sure to grab this opportunity, because this is really valuable. You'll be walking away with somewhere around 3 months of internship and a stipend as well, with a certificate. So this is really valuable while contributing to open source as well. So this is something that you can learn a lot from. So make sure to apply as well. um, Coming back to the 2025 GSOC timeline. So basically we are here right now in between March 24th and April 8th, where you get the chance to submit your proposals, right? And the organizations accept them, and they are announced as well. And then they have a community bonding period with the organization, right? So they give you some time to bond with the team, introduce the team, introduce yourself. And this is very valuable, because this is where you get to know the team that you're working with for the next 2 or 3 months. and then you can start developing for like 2 3 months depending on your project. This is where you work with the team, ask the team. You can be entirely new. You can be entirely new to JavaScript, you can be entirely new to Python, TypeScript, React, but it's fine, right? As long as you're interested, as long as you're keen on learning, I think that would be just enough for you to keep going for this period of 3 months. And once you're done on September 10th, the successful contributor projects will get announced, and basically the submission is done. And then somewhere around November, you be completing GSOC 2025. So this is a really tight timeline, but it will be really helpful because in a span of somewhere around 3 4 months, you'll be walking away with loads of experience. So that's what I want to highlight on you. So please make sure to apply as well. And yeah, I won't be focusing too much on the evaluations part, because we first need to apply. You first need to apply to get this off the ground. So a contributor must pass 2 evaluations, right? Contributors who pass each evaluation are paid a stipend for their work. Okay, so a stipend is basically some cash that is presented to you by that organization from Google itself, I believe. And this varies on the size of the project, whether it's small, medium, or large, and the country. So if you're Sri Lanka. So at the conclusion of GSOC, somewhere around October and November, the contributors submit the code they have written for the project and make it public so that everyone can see what you've done. And that would be really helpful because you will be directly working for open source development. So the ultimate goal of GSOC is to get you from a person who has absolutely no idea about open source into a person who directly contributes to open source through while working with really experienced organizations and really experienced developers. So this is a really good opportunity for young undergraduates such as yourself to get started on your career. Yeah. So I'll add some links on how you can apply and what you can look forward to in GSOC. So um, you can follow the GSOC website as well. I'll drop some links after the live chat, after the live session is over. So think about what time commitment you can make for GSOC. That's one of the things I'd like to mention. That will help you decide which project size that you should go to, right? So if you're working, I would suggest, if you're working and learning, I would suggest somewhere like a small size project, because you don't have a lot of time between working full time and doing a degree part time. But if you're doing a full-time degree, you'll have your weekends off, and probably your lectures might be done by 5. So you can go for a medium scale or a large scale project, depending on your preference. So think about those factors and think about how much time you can commit to that organization. So yes, read the contributor guidelines as well. And yep, that's basically it. These are some of the links that they have provided for all the contributors. So GSOC has a set of rules that you need to follow as well. Those will be provided by that organization, and you can go through that as well. And they have their own Discord chat available, the Google Developer Community. So make sure to join those communities as well. And if there is anything, you can just reach out to us. uh, our socials and everything is also available in YouTube, so you can make sure to contact us as well. And I'd like to repeat on the physical session that's going to be happening on the 26th of Wednesday at Slit Malawi. So two experienced, real experienced people who have been a part of GSOC, who have applied to GSOC as students. then they become mentees, then they become mentors, and now they are software engineers and fully working with open source development full time. And those are really great people who just love open source development. They're from an organization, a mentoring organization, this time as well, called OpenMRS, and we have worked with them previously as well. So, two speakers from OpenMRS will be coming on the 26th of Wednesday physically for Slit Malabe to do a session with you, a very interactive session on getting you off the ground and basically helping you apply for GSOC 2025. So basically that would be really helpful. So any questions that you have about writing proposals, selecting an organization, any concerns that you have about time, you can ask them. So make sure to come if you are a student at SLIT. um, yes, I think that would be it. um, is there any questions? Any questions from the audience? Okay. Alrighty then. Um, right. Thank you so much. I know this was quick and this just went along really well. Maybe it was too much information for your mind, but the recording will be available after the live is over. So make sure to check the live, uh, previously recorded live version as well, and make sure to come to the session on 26th of Wednesday at 10 a.m. at Slit Malabe. So where you can actually get your mind off the ground and actually apply for GSOC. And I'd like to stress the fact, because this is really important and this is really a very valuable chance that you can get, um, which is pretty rare, and you won't be needing, searching for internships and all these things, because this would act as a really good gateway for you into your tech career. So I hope to see you there. I'll drop the links and the details to everything that I mentioned to the description and the chapter's comment section as well. So make sure to come, and I hope to see you there. Thank you for joining. I hope you have a very good night. Take care, guys. Bye bye.